My dear students, exactly it is 7 p.m. and now we are starting the particular subject that is called as the IBO-4 block number 1 and part 2. It means block number 1 is so bigger, it should be completed at least 2 to 3, means at least it requires of 10 classes. But however, in a short period, we have to complete within a 2 hours. So that everybody is requested, first of all, you read the block 1 at least thrice. My dear students, IBO-4, this is block number 1, part 2, and the topic is that is called as a import, export, import documentation and policies. And myself, Dr. Durga Madhav Mahapatra, lecturer in commerce, Fakirmohan Autonomous College, Baleshwar, and counselor of Indira Gandhi National Open University, New Delhi. In front of you, I am presenting my particular slides as regards to this block number 1 and part 2. My dear students, if you see in my contents of block number 1 part 2, I have completed it in 3 parts, that is unit 3, unit 4 and unit 5 of this IBO-4 or block 1. Unit 3 is the export import trade regulatory framework. Unit 4 is the electronic data interchange EDI system. It is very easy. EDI system, very easy. And unit 5, that is called as a processing of an export order. My dear student, these are the 3 chapters are there through which we have to identify some of the important topics which is important for your examination point of view as well as your knowledge point of view. I am presenting on through my slides. My dear students, if you see in the unit 3, that is export import trade and regulatory framework, in previous classes we have already covered what is international business and how the countries are conducting their business through internationally and what are the legal regulatory frameworks are there. But my dear students, here the question is export documentation, or today's class for the export documentation. Export documentation means before go through the export documentation, I want to point out some of the issues relating to the export procedure. In previous class, I have pointed out that there are 6 stages are there through which exports can be, or export procedure can be documented for the international way of doing the business. For export procedures, the step number 1 is the preliminary document. Step number 2 is the offer and receipt of confirmed order. Step number 3 is the production and clearance of products for exports. And 4th step is the shipment, means related to shipment. And step number 5 is the negotiations of the documents or realization of export proceeds. And the last point is the obtaining various export incentives. These are the only 6 steps. But before go through these steps, first step is the preliminaries. If you talk about in preliminaries, I have already stated in previous class, one number is required, that is called as a import exporter code number, that is called as a IC number. Means before importing or exporting of the goods, you should obtain from the licensing authority that one number is required, or any individual or any firm intending to exporting or importing the goods, that number is important. That is called as a importer or exporter importer code number. That is called as the IEC number. Next one is the membership in certain bodies is necessary. I have already stated in previous class. Membership means obtaining membership of different councils, promotion councils, or trade business promotion organizations, or international trade or any organizations to help or to supporting the particular exporting of the goods. And next one is the registration is necessary. And registration, where it is obtained, that is obtained from export promotion councils. As you are importer or as you are exporter, the particular registration is necessary. These are the three stages as regards to preliminaries, or that is the primary step. Second one is offer and receipt of confirmed order. In a particular order, you know, there is a name of the buyer is required, description of the goods is required, price is required, condition of sale is required. In exporting of the goods, there is a validity of the goods, is a time validity period is required, or you may call as the invoice validity is required, and escalation clause is also there. My dear student, you listen carefully. I am stating escalation clause. Escalation clause means sometimes once at the time contract is in between the buyer and seller or exporter or importer, but in due period or at the time of delivery of the goods, the product prices will increases. That the price or the cost of input is increases, or the cost of production also increases. That type of condition, or that type, therefore the exporter include the escalation clause or escalation price. It means if the price is increases in due time due to the raw material, due to the labor, or due to the any other cause, that price point should be included on that. That is a one important clause. Another important clause is delivery schedule. You have already know the delivery schedule in time period. Another one is inspection. Inspection of quality goods is necessary. Another clause is important, like escalation clause. Similarly, another clause is there, that is called as a force majeure clause. Force majeure, FORCE, majeure, MAJECURE, majeure clause. The question is, what is force majeure clause? Sometimes there is a contract in between importer and exporter, and sending from one country to another country, but due to war, due to riots, due to any natural calamities, the goods are not delivered, or it fails to deliver the particular goods. These are called as an uncontrolled situation, or the some risk exposure is arises. Due to this, the delivery cannot be properly carried out in between two countries, or by the exporter to the into the importer, like as a buyer or exporter who is sells the goods. This condition also arises, that to get the rescue of such condition, it means force majeure clause means that is a not delivery of the goods due to the some of the risk exposure. But escalation clause is something different. If the raw material price is increases, the cost of production will be increases, and in the due time period, everybody will agree on that increase of prices. Another one is the payment of from other obligations are there, like as a spare parts, after sale service, or warranty, guarantee conditions. In legal issues, we have already discussed. Confirmation order is there. Exporting license is also necessary. And also procuring finance. Without finance, there is a exchange, foreign exchange exposure is also there. But even if these, the code is necessary. Export importing code is necessary. or the quality control or quality documentation is also necessary in such scenario. These are the overall just a basic idea as regards to the particular of primary stages and offer are received and also like as a production and clearance of the goods. Another important stage at the time of exporting of the particular goods, that is called as a shipping or transportation. In a transporting of the goods or importing or exporting, the ship is a major part or it is a cheaper source of
Hello.
transportation as regards to the other. For example, my dear student, if you talk,
Hello.
yes,
Sir.
hello. If you talk about the ship, it means
सर पीपीटी चेंज
somehow
नहीं हो रहा सर, एक ही
some
जगह पे है।
custom clearances documents are required.
Hello.
What type of document clearances is required? Means that is custom clearances. Means when you exporting or importing of goods, that is custom clearance required. Custom clearance, what type of documents to be attached at the time of custom clearance? Like there are pro forma for original as well as duplicate. GR form is there, that is called as the exchange control document. AR form is there, export license is there, letter of credit is there, form of declaration is there, certification of inspection is there. These are the some of the
Hello,
shipping.
sir.
Yes.
सर पीपीटी चेंज कीजिए सर, पीपीटी
हाँ,
चेंज नहीं हो रहा है.
तो अभी मैं स्टार्ट ही नहीं किया हूँ पीपीटी तक. So
Okay, sir.
some of the documents relevant to the document are to be required at the time of shipment of goods. But the question everybody is asking, sir, what is GR1 form? GR1 form means exchange control documents, which is required at the time of risk exposure of Reserve Bank of India. Means these are the basic amenities which are required at the time of exporting procedure of a particular of goods sending from one part of a country to the other parts. Similarly, some documents in my PPT, you see in PPT there is some documents are required, export documents. What are the documents? The document is divided into two parts. One is commercial document, another one is regulatory document. But commercial document, there are different types of documents are required. Commercial invoices, bill lading. I am not pointed out this. What is the definition of bill lading airways? You have to patience for another class also. Some documents is required. These are the important documents. Commercial invoices, bill lading, airways bill, post parcel receipt, insurance policy and certificate, bills of exchange, and combined transport documents also there. But if you talk about in a legal document as regards to exporting from India, there is two documents are important. One is import and exporter code number is required. Another one is registration cum membership certificate is required. That is called as a RCMC, which is get from the promotion council, which is I have already stated in a starting of my class. I am presenting regarding this topic also. Means RCMC is not a legal document, but somehow it is needed. Another one is, if you see in my slide, there are some other than some document which is not required in Nepal and Bhutan as a neighboring countries, declared as a following forms are not required. That is called as a GR form. It means another one is PP form, DPI COD form, Softex forms, GR form. It is titled in duplicate, which I have pointed out in starting of my lecture. That is a duplicate of all exports regarding the physical form. Means what type of goods are to be exported through GR form if the documents can be prepared. and one format is also there, but it is difficult to throw my PPT to show the format of GR form, but one form is there. PP form is there. It is also in filled in duplicate. That is called as a value payable or cash on delivery basis. Everybody know the COD, cash on delivery basis, but here the at the time of post parcel, that type of PP form are to be used. Post parcel means if you are using the post parcel, similar forms are to be used. See, through cash or through VPP, value payable post, VPP. Here the value payable post, that is called as a PP form, and it is also used in international business. It is also in the domestic of sending of any goods to one place to another place. VPI code form, similarly one copy document is required. First two three copy, another two copy duplicate copies, but here one copy is required. That is called as a cash delivery or value payable, means at the time of payment also. And text form is there, that is also triplet form, and that is a computer generated form is required. But the question is, at the time of shipping of a bill, if you go first, if you go through the shipping of a bill, shipping of a bill means there are different type of shipping of activities are there. The question is why this bill is required? Because the transportation of goods by ship is cheaper in compared to the other, like as a air, like as a road, and like as any physical via media. And through there are different type of hurdles have to be taken off, so that through ship these type of bills have to be prepared. Means when at the time of importing or exporting, shipping bills are important. And in a shipping bill, there are different documentation types of bills are there. Free shipping bill is there, dutable shipping bill is there, drawback shipping bill is there, shipping bill for shipment of exports are there. Means it is just like free shipping bill is like a white paper. Exporting of a export duty should be attached within particular export incentive is required. Due table, similarly, it is like a yellow paper. This is white paper, it is like a yellow paper. The goods as regards to submit export duty is required. Drawbacks or shipping bill, it is also like as a green paper, which is related to export of goods plus duty drawback is there. Drawback, duty drawback means here excise duty drawback. And the shipping X bond, that is also like a yellow paper. These type of related to the bounded warehouse where the particular goods are to be kept. My question is here, shipping bills or shipping company may issue some shipping advice or shipping order depending upon the requirement of the exporter, and such type of documentation are required in enough in different color, white paper, yellow paper, green paper. That is a way through which shipping documents are to be prepared. If you talk about some other way of legal documents for importing of the goods, importing countries, there is another documents are required, that is called as a consular invoice, customer invoice, legalized invoice, certified invoice are there. It means this is sent to the importer, means importing countries. Legal documents for importing countries, these documents are to be required. Several it is stamped and it is consulted with the other country which the particular goods are to be sent. Customer invoice regarding it is or prescribed by the custom authority. It means these are the documents which are related to custom office can charge a custom duty and appropriate with the consultation with the custom officer, then these particular documents are required. Yeah, another one is the certificate of origin also required, where the origin means there is a chamber of commerce. I am already stated this is not essential, but somehow it is required. GSP certificate of origin is required. generalized certificate of preferences. It means these related to import duty treatment of the countries, and prescribed form is there. And as well as some of the, if you talk about in a some standardized pre-shipment of document is required at the time of you can send through ship in a particular documents. Like as in commercial documents are there and regulatory documents are there. Here standardized pre-shipment. Pre-shipment means before you before you sending the goods into the particular ship or nearby the particular boarding of the ship, some documents are required. That is called as a commercial document as well as regulatory. That is called as a physical transfer of goods. You see in my slide clearly stated physical transfer of goods and title from the exporter to importer for realization of export sale proceeds. That document is divided into two parts. One is principal export documents. Another one is auxiliary export documents are required. If you talk about principal export documents, similarly commercial invoice, I have already stated in previously when I'm starting my class, I am discussing about one theory. And a packing list of the bill of lading, certificate of inspection. I have already in starting class I have discussed such of inspection certificate. Insurance certificate is required. Certificate of origin, exchange, shipment is required. But in auxiliary extra document, there is a pro forma invoice, inspection, shipping instruction, insurance declaration, shipping order, mate receipt. If you talk about here mate receipt, sometimes some of the points I'm not put in a particular class, but you have to take patience for the some of the items. What is the definition of mate receipt? What is bill lading? What to wait for that. But if you talk about in mate receipt, it means after the goods are loaded in the ship, the captain of the ship furnishes the document of the port superintendent. It means when the goods are loaded in the ship, the captain of the ship instructs to the port superintendent that these documents are to be loaded. It means a driver said these documents are loaded and you can clearance me to start my journey and to reach that a destination place. That type of document is called as a mate receipt. Mate receipt. Another document everybody always encounter enough in your book, always, that is called as a bill of lading. Lading. Bill of lading means at the time of exporting importing of the goods, one agent is there, that is called as a forwarding agent, or you may call as a export forwarding agent. Means some agent is there, he can collect the mate receipt in same from the authorities, and also and it can deposited with the port authorities. Like as the goods, he said, the agent said the goods are to be loaded in the ship and the goods are to be on a point of these are to be sent through a destination point. That is the way through which called as a bill of lading. Lading means the forwarding agent requires a one mate receipt and he can send to the port authorities. But mate receipt says the captain says these are goods are to be loaded and you can clearance, give me the clearance to start my journey. That is called as a mate receipt. That is the basic difference between a mate receipt and a bill of lading. And application of origin, similar to bank collection negotiation documents. And sometimes these 16 documents, out of 16, 14 documents are standardized. It means required. Another 14 documents are not standardized. It means not required enough to at the time of exporting of the goods. But the question is here documents how the size of the document is. The paper size is 4, the length is 297. In your book you can see the width is 210 margin is top 20, 10 to 10, and right is seeing mean how it is shows. It shows like a inside measurement is length is 280 and width is 184 these documents are such like this. But the question is, if you talk about these are the called as a commercial document. If you talk about regulatory documents, regulatory means some regulatory authority they impose that these documents are necessary at the time of exporting or importing. It is a story, just like a story. What type of documents are really needed? But in a regulatory, who are the regulators? Central Excise, Custom, RBI, Export Import Council. What they require? These are called as a pre-shipment stage. In a pre-shipment stage, they require Central Excise says invoice A4 is required, A5 form is required. Custom says no, I require shipping bill and bill of export is required. Port authority says no, document challan is required, export application is required, and copy of a shipping bill receipt is required, and port charges is required. RBI says no, I require GR and PR form because and others required some of the at the time of insurance, freight, payment, or in previous classes I have already discussed FOB and CIF. These are the two ways through which the documents are to be required enough to, at the time of exporting of the goods. But the question here is shipping bill or shipping export document is necessary. GR application, dock channels, port trust authority, these are the basic, or port payment charges, these are the basic documents which are to be required for exporting of the goods to a particular country. My dear students, be careful you see in my slides, you particularly I am divided into two parts. One is commercial point of view, what documents are required, and in a regulatory point of view, what documents are to be required, and which organization require what type of form. Central Excise, Custom, Port Authority, RBI require such type of documents. Next one is their document is size. What type of size is there? A4 size is paper is there, length is there, width something there, and the right corner is 0.5, top corner 1.5. You see in your book also it can be also shown how the document size is. But the question is, these are the whatever I have discussed, these are related to only export procedure. When I am starting my class, you are pointed out to me, sir, change the slides. These at the time of starting of my class, I am pointed out regarding how the export procedure can maintain. Then I am starting the export documents, like as a commercial documents, regulatory documents. Now I am presenting in front of you that is import documents. Importing, who is a buyer? Importing, buyer of a particular goods. Similarly, same thing, I have several times pointed out, IEC is required. IEC required means importer exporter code is required. That number is necessary and required from a regional licensing authority. Every time I have to say. Secondly, bill of entry is required for a central excise board for to custom control with a prescribed form, because the goods are to be discharged in a proper manner. Second, 4 copies of bills are to be submitted in different departments, like as in some foreign exchange, bank, and original duplicate with some way. What are the way? Now that is one is white color, another is yellow color, another is green color. In white color document, it should be it should be cleared and kept to your home consumption, like as the importer's documents. If you take into warehouse, the goods are to be shifted in a warehouse. At the time of clearance, yellow color document is required. If you talk about green color document, that should be also removed from the goods from warehouse and sent to the and taken by the importer. Mean the importer wants to remove the goods, this green color document is required. These, my dear student, listen carefully. I am pointed out only importing procedure, not exporting. Whatever delivered on 45 minutes, last 30 minutes, that is called as only exporting procedure. Now I am discussion is importing. Second is sometimes in bill of entry is in not required in a particular cases. What type of cases? Now passengers baggage or papers parcel or mailbox postal parcel. It means some of the documents which are not to be covered. Every time you need in such a particular personal use document, ship store documents, these are to be not required. Another these are the overall concept, somehow overall concept of exporting document procedure and importing document procedure, and some part are also left out. I have left out some of the parts that can be discussed on later on classes also. My dear students, in the unit 4, the topic is electronic data interchange, EDI. What is EDI? Everybody knows the EDI. What is EDI? It means through electronically, you can transfer or you can change your business pattern through electronically, or through electronically you can get back some of the information, or you can that's called as a transfer of structured data with some messages standards, although from computer to computer it can be electronically, means the transferring of the goods, that is called as a EDI, electronic data interchange. But presently, EDI is necessary, and through EDI, everything we can trace out. Unlike like as everybody says that is through GPS, where the particular CP is there, everybody know the through GPS. That's called as we thank to the technology, and the technology is an enabler, and we are rounded up with the new type of technology like as a artificial intelligence, machine learning, that is called as robotics, drone technology, through which this is an extension of EDI. My dear students, EDI means electronic means, EDI means paperless trading, EDI means that is called as a incoming or that's called as exchanging of information through electronically also, and it can be easily through machines, it can be easily trace out, or this is called as a very easier way to get back some information. There is no need of postal delay also, and it's called as a new type of trading partner also. There are different type of benefits are there, strategic benefits are there, operational benefits are there, opportunity benefits are there. Through EDI, it is a faster, it is a just in time, easily you can, or a term of trade can be easily knowingly and assess the new market, closure relationship, and some reduced cost in operational security and error reduction are there. It enhances the images also, it improves the trading relations also. It means through EDI, these are the some of the benefits are there. But the question is, these EDI, what are the components is required through the EDI? If I am my business, in the last class I have discussed through e-commerce as one of the important aspect of exporting, importing of goods or internationalization of business. Similarly, another key component of EDI is computer hardware is necessary. Means transmission of message electronically, two or more, somehow the computer hardware is required. Through it's required for the physical interface also, or communication softwares are required. Nowadays there are different types of softwares are there through which it can be communicate or it can connect to anybody. And translation, it can be converted into different softwares are there through transmitting or receiving the computer to understand. It means different countries have a different language, and through EDI it can be cleared enough also. And also application software is there, telecommunication network is there. But secondly, we are counter enough with the ADI, electronically data interchange. When you purchase any article or when you go to the any of a mall or any shop, you see one barcode machine is there. He can click the barcode with the or pressing with some number is there, 1 2 3 4 8 9 6, and then he can push through barcode, the amount is reflect. This is the necessity of EDI. It means when the transacting or when the exporting importing of the goods, the easier accessible or easier traceable of goods or transaction can be made through the barcode. It is a machine which is readable also. It is a printed symbol also. It consisting of bars also. Bars means some one number is there, and it barcode reflect also language also, and it can be less human error also. These through which it's called as a standardization also. But the question is there are different type of barcodes are there. What are these barcodes? These barcodes contain only 13 numerical digit. You see my slide, I pointed out 13 numerical digit. If any packet you show, any packet you see, there is in backside of a particular article, there is a barcode is there. First 2 digit indicates the country. Next 5 digit, it identifies manufacturer. Next 5 digit, it allocates the manufacturer to individual items, particular individual items. And last one number is related to the check of the goods. It means 13 can be divided into 2 digit, next 5, and last one. 5 5 10 plus 2 12, and last one is the check digit regarding the particular number of the article. It means that is the way the particular 13 digit approach can refer in a specific business location of a unique manner. My question is here, my point is, at the time of importing or exporting of the goods, there is a EDI and barcoding of a goods can be required, and it may called as a parallel to rectangle bars are there, space arranged are there, and in a EN encoding rules also there. If you talk about the barcode, there are different other type of barcodes are there, like as a OCR, ICR, optical or intelligent character recognition is there. Magnetic MICR is there, magnetic ink character recognition is there. If you see in checkbook, in your banking document, some MICR code is also there. In a magnetic stripe is also there. In your debit card, credit card, you see in a backside of the debit card and credit card, that is a magnetic tape is there. There is one blackish of magnetic stripe is there, and radio frequency coded tag is also there. This is very much useful at the time of issuing of library books through online system also. Means these are the some of the automatic identification methods are there. But the question is, EDI have an own standard. What are type of standard? This standard can be divided into 3 parts: ANSI ASC 12.1, that is called as ANSI X12, UNTD 12, and EDIFACT 3. These are the some, but ANSI 12, this is useful in Australia and New Zealand. UNTD is useful in UK, and EDIFACT is generally used in very much international syntax standard, is very much popular in every country also. What it says, this concept is emerged in 1985. Only the huge recognition and use of world for commerce, transportation as well as administration. Means for the administration or transportation, United Nations has introduced these artifact codes. Means at the time of in listen, at the time of exporting importing of goods, such type of artifacts documents are required, that standards are there, and that standards we can obey some guidelines, and accordingly we can transporting the goods. Similarly, I have pointed out in my slide, this is a syntax rules. This can be used in European countries or European nations, American nationals, and it is a rigorous message also, and it is a worldwide, it can be recognized also a defect also, and the countries also implemented in properly also. These are the some of the issues with regards to the artifact. But in artifact, the main focus area is 13 syntax is there, and that is called as a code, or and that is called as syntax rules are there, data elements are there, buyer, seller, group description, messages are there, segment means which type of particular documents, and messages as related to prescribed form, and codes are also there. There is a different codes of particular product through which it can be usable. Mean different blocks, different source messages also required in a defect. Another concept is, in addition to that EDI, another concept is developed in nowadays. Nowadays, it is developed through the, you say there is no need of EDI, there is a need of applications. There is a need of through cloud computing concept is there. Means every document can be kept through cloud. This is the addition, means value added, some of the network services are there. What is VAN? It means it is a private hosted service or internet services provider. If you take the example in India, BSNL is there. BSNL, Videsh Sanchar Nigam Limited, BSNL, or you may call it as a BSNL, Bharat Sanchar Nigam Limited. And through VAN means value added network, it have been facilitated through between EDI of different companies, different countries, different parts of the world. They say there are different type of service providers are there. If you take the example of VAN, VAN or VANs, so you may say that is called as a Airtel also there, Jio is there. These are some of the private internet service providers. My dear student, another important interesting topic is processing of an export order. The question is, everybody know the export, but what is order? How the export order should be placed, and in which way it can be focused. Export order, it means I have already discussed at the time of in the last class that is what is export sales contract and export order. Export order, either it's called a form of a export sales contract, or it's a documentary evidence, or it's called as a one type of contract between two parties for sending the goods. And that is just some of the needs of forms are required, like a pro forma invoice is required, sent by the exporter to the importer. Purchase order is required, which is signed by the exporter. Purchase order can be signed by the exporter because it requires a letter of credit is required. It is it is opened by the importer in favor of exporter. So these three documents are important at the time of exporting of the goods or export sale of the goods. The question is, how you are to examining the export order? The product description, you know about the product description, style, color, packing, contents, marketing and labeling is required, term of payment is there, confirm, not confirm, restricted, unrestricted, letter of credit. There are different other payment system is there. Currency, nature of letter of credit, exchange duration, exchange time period of duration, time of shipment, delivery, port delivery, pre-delivery, port shipment, pre-port shipment, inspection requirement, types of inspecting by the agencies also, insurance requirement, and risk exposure, payment, negotiation. Negotiation means to whom? Negotiation with the banks. But certainly, I am focusing some of the financing way through the exporter is necessary. Exporting means finance is required. The question is here financing means pre-shipment financing, post-shipment financing, pre-shipment and post-shipment financing, or you may call it as a pre-shipment credit, post-shipment credit is necessary. Means that type of finance of working capital is needed at the time of purchase of raw material or convert into finished goods at the purpose of export. Means amount or finance or money or fund or working capital is required for purchase of raw material and converted into finished goods and sent for the purpose of exports. That is called as a pre-shipment credit. But if you talk about post-shipment credit, finished goods are to be come for, or it can be taken into consideration for exporting. In such a case, post-shipment credit is also necessary. Means it is a relational between the two party through bank and exporting of a exporter. Means time gap is there, realization of sales proceed is there, and there is the bank can grant some of the credit to the exporter that okay, I am on behalf with you and you have to export the goods. So that type of two credit facility is required at the time of shipment. Another one is packing credit is also necessary at the time of third party guarantee or mortgage or immovable or some documentation is required. That is the concept, that type of constraint, that type of dispersal of fund, arrangement of fund, or a debiting or packaging, or the requirement of fund or further transporting or through agents or through for warehousing secured enough. That is called as a export finance granted. Means for the export some finance is granted. But the question is, what type of pre-shipment inspection? Pre-shipment inspection means the goods are to be ready and goods are to be manufactured and it can financing can be done and then it is ready for shipment. For the pre-shipment means shipment, it means it can be load or can be near to be loaded with the ship and it is ready for the ship and to load it and the goods have to be transported or reached at a destination place. My dear student, here pre-shipment some requirement is required, means some inspection is required. That is done by the only custom authorities. Custom authorities can issue a inspection certificate. But before that, I am already focusing about the like as a what is the particular of a mate receipt I have already discussed. But here the discussion point is inspection means what type of safety, healthy, good, quality, minimum standard should be enforced. It can be divided into three parts: consignment wise, in process quality wise, and self satisfaction. But in this scenario, in such a scenario, one agent is required. I have already stated in my previous lectures that there is a clearing or forwarding agent is required. That is called as a freight forwarder or freight exporter also, you may say as an exporter. Some books it says third party agent exporter. It can be clearly stated, or forwarding agents also there. That is called as a clearing and forwarding agents. or you may call it as a freight forwarder. There is a number of functions are there. He has a labeling, he has a packing, he has a consignment of arrangement, or his port or shipment clearance. So all document can be done to the third party. He is just like an agent. But the question is, some document at the time of clearance or shipping the goods, bill of lading or airway bill is required, or excise inspection certificate is required, or delivery note of dispatch of advice. It means what type of goods are to be export. Department can be, he can signing a one document, that is delivery note. These are the other documents are like as a railway receipt through railway. If you put through transportation through railway, that is railway receipt is required. Invoice is required about the document. A4 and AR4 and AR5, I have already stated at the time of exporting of goods. Original as well as duplicate. Means a duplicate copy is required. Inspection certificate is required. And some instructions sheet also there. Shipping instructions. Some of the shipping instructions through which it can be done. And other way, the some commercial invoice is there. Packing list is there. Original letter credit contract is there. Inspection of a certificate is also there. GR form is there. A4, A5 document, original duplicate is there. Invoice, railway receipt, lorry way bills are there. One student asked me, sir, these are the some of the documents which are repeatedly you say. These documents are at the time of shipping. These documents are at the time of exporting, and these are documents at the time of a export order, or these type of documents are to be required at the time of a exporting of sales contract. Sir, really it is confusing. No. My dear student, some documents are similar in nature, which are required at the time of exporting procedure, as well as shipping, as well as some type of inspection of at the time of by the excise contracts, or a type of other regulatory evidence. My dear students, if you talk about transportation, port transportation, some formalities are required. Similar, agent is required. Without agent, it cannot be carried out, or cannot be proposed. That is called as clearing or forwarding agent. And the custom clearance is necessary. Port authorities clearance is necessary. I have already stated that is called as a mate receipt is required. Mate receipt is required means the captain said the goods are to be loaded, and the port superintendent can issue a one receipt. That is called as a mate receipt is required. Bill of lading is required. Means these are to be custom clearance permission port from port authority to bring out the cargo or shipment. These are to be required. But what type of really documents are similar? These are also repeated. Shipping bill, 4 to 5 copy. Contract, any type of corresponding letter of credit, original. Commercial invoice, one shipping bill. GR form, inspection, AR4, AR5 form, original and duplicate, packing list, and some any other document. My dear student, when you read 2 times of your block 1, you have to list it out actually what documents are required for a particular the goods are to be loaded, and for during the loaded, finance is required. During the loaded, customs clearance is required. During the loaded, some inspection requirement is required. During the loaded, some forms are to be required. AR form, GR1 form, or report from licenses, different license required. These are also some common document which are document with the custom house, or maybe the any type of exporting of the goods. But importing somehow different. My dear students, I have already stated that some documents are required for the financing or working capital, means to raw material to be converted into finished goods. But the here question is, what type of document is submitted to the bank? As an exporter, some negotiations should be made. some collection should be made, and some type of like as a negotiation in between for the foreign exchange exposure is required. In this case, similarly, commercial invoice is required. I have pointed out what are the commercial documents. In my first slide, it shows what are the commercial documents. Certificate of origin is required, custom invoice is required. Similarly, GR form is required, packing list is required, additional copy certification from bank is required, original letter credit and clean on board billing, bill of lading is required, bank certification required, marine insurance policy certificates. These are the some of the documents which are required enough for the particular type of at the time of exporting of the goods. My dear students, in a block 1 it contains 5 topics. One is legal issues, next one is exporting procedure is a very important in unit 3, another one is EDI, another one part is that is called as a export sales order. But when I am starting my class, I have pointed out some of the issues or some of the through which how the particular will be goods are to be loaded and what type of document are arises. Like as a bill of lading, like as a maid's receipt, like as a shipment documents, and some other way clearing order documents. These are the some documents which are negotiated documents and some of the incentives of documents. These are the required. Shipping here, shipping means shipping by air, something different. Shipping by post, something different. Shipping by the any type of road transport, something different. But whatever it may be, the common documentation are necessary, and the methods are preliminary document is code number is required, preliminary document members are required, preliminary document registration are required, inquiry and some of the clauses should be fulfilled, that is called as legal issues, escalation clause, force majeure clause, inspection, validity of the period, as well as some of the issues related to custom, some of the issues related to excise, some of the issues related to packing, and some of the excise.
Hello.
सर चले गए क्लास खत्म।
ଆପଣ କୁଆଡେ ପଳେଇଲା ଆଉ